guys, it's Cloudy. How are you all? Today we're going to be talking about the finale for Queen of Tears and also my final thoughts on the series. Queen of Tears is a K-drama that stars Kim Soo-hyun and Kim Jiwon and follows a couple that is on the brink of divorce due to a pileup of small misunderstandings, arguments, and just life that gets in the way of married couples. The female lead, Hong Hae-in, is the daughter of a huge conglomerate company called Queen's Group that owns a bunch of department stores, and she ends up meeting the male lead, Baek Hyun-woo, when she goes undercover as an intern in her company. And as they meet, because he doesn't know her true identity as the daughter of the company, he ends up falling in love with her for real, and they end up getting married. In this very, very popular series, there are two streams of conflict. The first is related to the romance and couple, as well as Hae-in's medical condition throughout the series. The second is related to baddies or outsiders that want to take over the Queen's Group. This is a pretty popular conflict trope that we've seen in other series as well, involving huge companies. There's always some sort of person that wants to take over all the money or the family. In terms of couples, there are three couples to talk about. The first is the main couple, whose romance and relationship dominates a huge part of the show. Secondly, we have Hae-in's younger brother, Hong Soo-chol, and his wife, Da-hae, who tricked her way into the family and has some things to come clean about in her relationship. The third side couple is between Bum-ja, who is Hong Hae-in's aunt, and also an ajashi from Baek Hyun-woo's hometown. So as the series unfolds, we get a little bit of spotlight time on each couple, and each couple sort of serves a different purpose in the drama. Now I want to talk about some notable parts of the show. If you've made it this far to the video, I am going to be talking about some spoilers because I do want to delve into the last two episodes as well as the overall audience reception to the finale and a lot of the tropes that came up as well. So firstly, I want to talk about my favorite couple in the show, which is surprisingly not the main couple. My favorite couple is actually Soo-chol and Da-hae's story. Da-hae lied her way into the family and has been tricking Soo-chol for a really long time. Even her baby is not actually Soo-chol's son, but he's so incredibly kind that he took care of her and he loves the son so much. Even after finding out that she lied to him and that the baby isn't his, he's still willing to be a father and a husband to them. So I thought their relationship was beautiful in that kind of way where both of them have to find courage and bravery to step out of their current circumstances. For Soo-chol, he has always been protected by his mother and suffocated by his family, so he has to sort of break out of that mold. As for Da-hae, she has been controlled by other scammers and like scumbags for a long time in her life, just trying to survive on her own. So she needs the bravery to break out of her previous social circle and just to take a step forward to live an honest life. And throughout the series, I really like how you didn't really know if the second couple was going to survive and have a happy ending. For the first couple, everyone knows that the main couple will always aim towards a happy ending. But as for the second couple, I really think that I was on edge as to whether or not they were gonna have a happy family in the end. I was really rooting for them because their baby boy was so cute. And I really feel like it's two people that come from very different backgrounds and very unlikely circumstances who are still willing to choose each other and choose family at the end of the day. So I thought that their story was really lovely at the end. Next, I want to talk about the family dynamics. Overall, I felt like the family dynamics were pretty shallow. They bicker a lot, but it's kind of childish. They sue each other a lot, but it's really petty. And a lot of times in chaebol or rich family stories, we see people being really manipulative and kind of crazy, and the sort of like twisted richness plays a big part of the conflict in the story. But I feel like for the Hong family, a lot of their rich antics are just like comedy points. For example, when they are pushed out of their mansion and they're forced to go live with the Peck family in the countryside, they talk about how they've never cooked a day in their lives and it's the first time ever that they're sleeping on the floor. So I feel like in that sense, they poked fun at a lot of like rich people characteristics and quirks rather than using the rich, spoiled life as a gateway to a conflict plot. And once everyone found out about Hae-in's condition or the divorce, I felt like people were generally pretty caring and understanding about it. And you could see that the family was a very loving family to begin with, just due to some past circumstances and also work, getting entangled with family life. They weren't able to be a genuinely caring family in the present, but they kind of come to that point near the end. So even though the family is overall kind of useless without Hyunwoo's help, they served as a nice support for the main couple. Okay, next I want to talk about the villains. The villains were really captivating to watch, especially Eun-sung. I feel like he was more interesting than the Mosuli Ajuma character, because Silly was like typically the lady who wants to take over the family. We've seen her character before, we know she's manipulative and twisted, but I felt like for Eun-sung, his actor really put an obsessive dimension to the character and the acting through his glares, his body posture, and just like a lot of other small minuscule scenes, like his body shaking or the way he would like grab or interact with Han. We're able to see his villainous side come out. And I've never seen a villain that I hated so much, but in turn, he made me love him as an actor because he was just so captivating and interesting to watch. And I was actually very surprised in interviews to hear how level-headed and normal he is in real life. So I'm really hoping to see him in other dramas, not just as a villain, but also as a main character as well. All right, now let's talk about episode 15 and 16. 15 and 16 were a roller coaster because every twist under the K-drama sun was thrown into those episodes. First off, let's start with a brief summary. The last two episodes deal with the consequences of Haeun's surgery. She becomes healthy again, but the consequence is that she loses all of her memory. Now, it's not specified whether or not she will get her memory back, but slowly she starts to get her memory back because of her loved ones beside her. And of course, because it's a K-drama and she's the main character. So in episode 15, when she's been like isolated and manipulated by Eun-sung, she drives out in the middle of the night to meet Hyunwoo once she realizes that Hyunwoo is the good guy. You know the part where they run towards each other and the traffic lights are blinking? I was sitting there screaming at my laptop like, please abide by traffic regulations. I don't want to see someone run out just because it's a red light and then they get hit by a car and then we have another hospital scenario. Like, I was not hoping for that to happen, but when someone did get hit by a car, I literally was about to yeet myself out the window because of course there has to be a dramatic car crash near the end of the K-drama. Since Queen of Tears was so popular, I really had the hope that the writers would make the twist ending a little bit less cliched, but the car of death happened, and so Hyunwoo ended up in the hospital, and that was a sort of cliffhanger because we didn't know if he was going to survive. In episode 16, my blood pressure finally went down when we realized that Hyunwoo was okay, but I was still really annoyed that we needed a car crash to happen right when she's starting to regain some of her memories about her husband. And I was just really annoyed because I don't really like the trope very much. I also feel like overall the family was pretty useless because when Haeun had her surgery, none of her family members were present. When she came back to Korea, somehow they were able to isolate her from her family members, which I find kind of ridiculous because how can she just follow and trust this random man that she just met? But I also get why some of the evidence from her past was pointing to the fact that she would be distrustful to her family members. So there was just a lot going on with the amnesia trope. I did not like the amnesia trope at all. Also, I was really confused as to why this Ajuma, who was a domestic worker for like 10 plus years, was suddenly able to become this like conglomerate CEO. Like, what business skills did you acquire on the side? Or did she learn all this business stuff just by hanging out with the chairman? Because I don't think the chairman would be like teaching her business tactics when their relationship is like strictly romantic. So I had no idea why this Ajuma suddenly wanted to take over the business. If she had just chilled and stayed in her lane, she could have literally gotten everything she wanted, which was basically money and like a comfortable life for her and her son. And I feel like because the chairman truly loved her, if she had revealed that she had a son, he would have still taken her and her son in. So I don't know why she went through all this chaos just to like lose everything and then get arrested. I was a little bit disillusioned with the drama near the end because there were so many sudden twists that basically anything that could happen under the K-drama sun happened in the last two episodes. Like all the typical cliches. The law court scene was kind of rushed as well. Even though Queen of Tears shot to the top of viewership and overtook Crash Landing on You, I feel like Crash Landing on You has much better writing and a lot more interesting plot points. Queen of Tears' popularity really shows us that you don't have to write a very deep and thorough story to write a very popular story that can resonate with a wide viewership and wide audience. Like, entertaining and engaging stories have been shown to overtake new or creative writing. And I feel like because certain tropes were executed well, certain tropes were cliched enough that they fell into the comfort zone of most audience members, and also because the leads were so great that this show has received an immense amount of popularity. But I can't help but feel that the twists near the end were a little bit disappointing to me as a longtime K-drama fan. I do want to add on a little part about Kim Jiwon. Kim Jiwon is such a queen. She was so amazing throughout the entire drama. I mentioned this in my first impressions video, and also I want to mention it again here, that I think Haeun's character is the most interesting and engaging character throughout the entire series. She starts off as having a very cold exterior with a no-nonsense personality, and as the events in the show progresses, she starts to explore her vulnerability, her emotions. She taps into the sort of kindness that she feels for her coworkers and does little things for them. We also see her learn to be a more caring wife and more sensitive daughter to her family members. So her progression as a character was very realistic and in certain ways very relatable to a lot of women in the audience. Even though Kim Soo-hyun is such a good actor, he's so handsome, talented, skilled, whatever, I feel like his character was a little bit more flat compared to Haeun's character because he's literally just the perfect husband. He can fight, he stands up for her, he's incredibly intelligent, he's charismatic, he's handsome, he literally has it all, and he's sort of the perfect K-drama husband. I really felt like Haeun's character overall was so incredibly magnetic, and Kim Jiwon was truly amazing in showing all the angles and facets of Haeun's character. When you listen to Kim Jiwon do an interview, she's actually really soft-spoken, really sweet. She's like a flower. When she takes on her K-drama roles, she really slips into Haeun's skin so effortlessly, and I'm so surprised that her personality and her character's personality are so vastly different from one another. So I'm really impressed with Kim Jiwon, and I'm very, very excited to see what kind of future projects she's going to take in the future. Overall, the show had a lot of ups and downs. I feel like for people who do understand some Korean, they can notice that the dialogue was actually very witty, very sassy, had a lot of like attitude, and the comedic gag moments were also really cutesy and funny, whether they were between Hyunwoo and Haeun or between the family members. Like, even just in the last two episodes when there was a part when Haeun was about to walk away and she thought that Hyunwoo was grabbing her arm, but in fact her bag was caught on a chair. That's some sort of like unexpected comedic moment that you wouldn't think is happening while we're navigating the amnesia trope near the end of the series. So certain comedic moments really shed a lot of like lighthearted enjoyability on the show, and I was actually really surprised how many people this show captivated. Even for my boyfriend, who is not a K-drama lover at all, I had this drama playing beside him while he was playing games, and constantly he would be looking over, getting invested in the villains, in the drama, in the arguments, and then towards the end of the series, he was actually really looking forward to the finale. So even for people who are not typical K-dramas, despite the fact that there are a lot of tropes and cliches in this series, it's actually very charming and captivating to regular general audiences. So I was just very surprised overall. Anyways, these were my thoughts on Queen of Tears. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, what you guys thought of episodes 15 and 16, as well as your overall comments about the series and the actors and performances. And I will talk to you guys in my next video very soon. Bye!